Chapter 4. James. I originally thought we might go out for coffee to go over our plans for the coming month. It wasn't until the day after Thanksgiving that I realized most places were closed. Of course, the big box stores were open early in the morning, but the mom-and-pop shops had taken the day off. I drove past one of the larger coffee chains, and it looked crowded. I didn't think we could spread out there and really discuss everything. I wanted some amount of privacy, or at least personal space. It was only 8 in the morning, and the meeting with Alice wasn't until 9. I had a briefcase full of party plans that needed final decisions to be made and nowhere to connect with her. It looked like we were going to have to go to my office or hers. That meant we would be alone together, since all of my staff and probably most of hers was off for the day. I was trying to avoid that kind of intimate interaction. The more we could keep our meetings public, the better. I'd enjoyed the few times we sat down together, but I could sense that she was on edge. I wanted to make sure she was comfortable and thought that going out for coffee was the best solution. Instead, I was going to have to meet her alone and do whatever I could to lower the tension. I drove to her office and parked outside. Maybe on her own turf she would be less nervous. We could keep the door open, and I saw that there was a steady stream of customers going in and out of the shop. At least there would be other people somewhere in the building. "Hey, Allie?" I asked when I called her up. "Sorry, Alice." "Hello, James," she responded. "Are you at work?" "Yes. I wanted to meet you at a coffee shop, but I just drove by and they're packed." "Okay. May I come over to your office?" I held my breath, hoping not to make things too awkward. "Sure." "Great." I stepped out of the vehicle and grabbed my briefcase. "I'm here now. On my way up." If she was surprised, she didn't say so. We hung up without another word, and I crossed the parking lot to the staff entrance. There were 2 parts to the office, an on-site shop and a logistics center where all the real work was done. Alice's room was on the 2nd floor, above the hive of activity. The door was unlocked, so I let myself in, climbing the stairs to the upper hallway. Alice's door was wide open, inviting anyone to join her. I knocked on the door frame to announce myself, not wanting to intrude. She looked up from her computer and smiled. It was a knee-jerk reaction, or so I thought. For a moment, it looked like she was actually happy to see me. "I'm sorry," she said, closing the laptop. "I just had to take care of a few things." "Don't apologize," I said. "I shouldn't have asked you to come in on a holiday." "It's no trouble." She rounded the desk and pointed out the conference table. "Let's just get it done." I tried not to let her chilly attitude bother me. She'd made it perfectly clear that we were just business partners. I wished I could go back and capture that initial smile. It was as if she didn't care anymore, but I knew that couldn't be true. Somewhere deep inside, she had to be curious about what might have been. She was even more beautiful now than she had been in her early 20s. The mantle of leadership suited her. I just wished she didn't have to wear it so tightly as to shut me out. I got over myself quickly and settled down to work. If she wanted to get our meeting over with, that was fine. I just had a few things I needed to run by her at the last minute. Then I could firm up my plans and get ready for December. "What have you got?" she asked, taking a seat. I sat down opposite her, opening my briefcase and handing over the latest draft of my plan. I came up with a few new ideas, and I think I'm all set. I just wanted to run them by you for your approval. There was that magic phrase again, and it worked just as well as it had before. She straightened her shoulders, pleased to be in the driver's seat. I tried not to be impressed, but it was hard. Her lips looked so kissable, her hair perfect for running fingers through. "I thought we could have a tree trimming party," I said. "We can get 2 or 3 trees for the main office and 1 for the shop. I'll have tinsel and lights and a few decorative balls, but the big draw will be the commemorative ornaments that the employees get to take home with them." "I like it," she said, tilting her head as she read the details. "And, of course, an ugly sweater party," I concluded. "Of course." She gave me an inscrutable look, and I found myself wondering if it was a reaction to me or to my suggestion. "Do you have an ugly sweater?" I asked. "Of course," she replied so quickly I wasn't sure if she was lying. "I was going to bring in cereal to make garlands," I continued, filling the empty space with even emptier words. "But I'm not sure if that can be accomplished fast enough. It's important for everyone to relax and have fun, but also important that they get back to work when it's over." "I'd like to have some events in the evenings," she said. Things that we can invite families to. Sure, I agreed. That's fairly easy. She passed the paperwork back to me. Is that it? I sighed. I wanted to get out of the meeting without bringing up our past, but since she was being so abrupt, I didn't feel like I had a choice. You know we're going to be working very closely for the next month. I know. I'd like to reevaluate our professional relationship, I said, bursting forward even though warning lights were blaring at the back of my mind. How so? She seems cold, leaning away from me and folding her hands across her chest. Being friends would be much more conducive to a productive atmosphere, I said, ignoring my better judgment. You want to be friends? She demanded. Just for the month, I cautioned her. I'm not suggesting that we go on a road trip together. She studied me for a long time, probably trying to decide whether she could find another party planner on such short notice. Finally, she slumped and frowned. All right, we can be friends. Great, I said, standing up. Do you want to go grab a beer? James, she moaned. I'm kidding, I responded softly. This is a great thing you're doing for your employees, and I only want to help it go as smoothly as possible. She looked up at me, not moving to join me on her feet. Clasping her hands on the table, she relaxed somewhat. I could tell that the business was her weak point. She was proud of it, and rightfully so. Any compliment to her skills as a boss or to the company as a whole went straight to her heart. I would have to remember that for future conversations. Thanks for agreeing to do it, she said finally. I know you're really busy too. Yeah, well, you're paying me, I teased. I'm paying a fortune, she complained. I'm worth it, I winked. Get out of here, she answered gently, showing me toward the door. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, I said, following her directions. Right before I left, I was treated to another one of those genuine smiles. Since it had taken so much energy to find, I didn't want to push my luck. I left without another word, walking back to the car with a spring in my step. The warning bells in the back of my mind hadn't fallen silent. Instead, they were ringing louder than ever. They wanted me to be careful what I said around Alice. Too much flirting could lead into dangerous waters for me and her. We weren't any good together. We'd proven that much 10 years ago. I should have left well enough alone and kept things professional for the duration of the contract. But damn it, she was hot. And the same brain that was trying to warn me away from her was also feeding me memories about her body. I got in the car and started the engine. The offer for a beer had been a joke, but the more I thought about it, the more I wanted one. Instead of going back to the office, I drove straight for my favorite bar.